Please fasten your seatbelts.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. And they don't look like to Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Hell yeah.
Now just throw your hands in the motherfucking air and wave the motherfuckers like you just don't. Now just throw your hands in the motherfucking air and wave the motherfuckers like you just don't care.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
Years ago, in 1866, the Reverend Allen Wright, a Choctaw Indian, gave this state its name, Oklahoma.
Short, cold, and pow, haircut having ass motherfucker. Little Angela Davis, mustache wearing ass motherfucker.
Two Choctaw words meaning red people. Later, when Oklahoma became the 46th state to enter the Union, not only its name, but its official flag recognized the Indians' historic influence. The shield, the feathers, a peace pipe, and an olive branch. But in 1866, both peace pipe and olive branch were being ignored, for the West had not yet been won. The great Indian wars of the plains were just beginning, and would in large measure be the destructive last stand of a subjugated people. In those years, however, 5 tribes of Indians always stood apart. Not because of their valiant wars, but because of their peaceful ways and civilized conduct. They were the tribes who had come to Oklahoma against their will, and who were to lay the foundations for the state's future. Of these tribes, more than any others perhaps, can it be said, their history is ours, their history is ours, their history is ours, theirs our heritage. tribes of advanced Indians, including, besides the Choctaws, the Cherokees, the Creeks, the Chickasaws, and the Seminoles. Because of white settlement and political pressures, which had been building since the American Revolution, they were ordered to leave their homes of centuries in the states of the Southeast and on to new lands, largely undisturbed and only partially explored. These new lands stretch from the Red River in the south to the Illinois River in the north, from the Arkansas border in the east to the Great Plains in the west. For almost 100 years, this vast area would enrich history and create legends as Indian territory, and would be occupied by a distinguished people that the Congress would name in 1876, and would be occupied by a distinguished people that the Congress would name in 1876, in an act of supreme tribute, the 5 civilized tribes.
Mama, I love you. P.O.P. all the time.
Early in the 1830s, the administration of Andrew Jackson commanded 5 tribes of Indians in the southeastern United States, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, North and South Carolina, Alabama, and Florida, to move further west, away from white settlements. In a series of executive orders, acts of Congress, and forced treaties, the Indians were guaranteed new lands in exchange for the old, which were to be open to settlement with or without Indian permission. With or without Indian permission. With or without Indian permission. Their improved fertile lands were eagerly sought, and Jacksonian democracy, not indifferent to backwoods politics, made Indian removal an aggressive, basic policy. Only a very few were willing to go. The others petitioned the President and the Congress for relief. Some minor consideration was given, mainly because these 5 particular tribes seemed to be so different from other Indians, so surprisingly well educated in the usages of organized society. In fact, their dress was a likeness of the white man's, contrasting sharply to the traditional Indians. For example, Sequoia, the legendary Cherokee, had only passing respect for color, as seen in his famous turban, but otherwise looked as if he could have served in Jackson's cabinet.
Oh, hell no! Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Oh, shit!
His name was George Guess, but in Cherokee, Sequoia and his legacy is all around us. It was he that devised by himself a system for his people to read and write. But an even more revealing portrait of the age is that of John Ross, who led the Cherokees for more than 40 years.
You pee on me.
In every way, the man of style and charm in 1832. Ross and Sequoia demonstrate forcibly the widespread intermarriage between the 5 tribes and white missionaries and early European pioneers. The widespread intermarriage between the 5 tribes and white missionaries and early European pioneers. The widespread intermarriage between the 5 tribes and white missionaries and early European pioneers. Between the 5 tribes and white missionaries and early European pioneers. It was this fact that accounted for their adoption of the white man's manner, from living in some instances on plantations to owning Negro slaves, from sending their children to school and church to having constitutional self-government. Yet in the end, neither Jackson nor the Congress would yield. Within these boundaries, confined on the east by Arkansas, on the north by Kansas, the south by Texas, and the west by other scattered nomadic tribes, the so-called wild Indians. These were years of Indian uncertainty and confusion. Still, they struggled on. By 1860, the 5 tribes had been in Oklahoma for about 30 years. Then, suddenly, the Civil War.
T! Sweet T! Come get that nigga Sweet! Come get that nigga Sweet! Hey, come get that nigga! Sit that nigga! Damn! Holy
In the beginning, the tribes had argued among themselves on 3 possible choices: the Union, the South, neutrality. But arguments became quarrels, and quarrels became armed rebellion. Some Indians joined the Confederacy, others the Union armies. Still others joined neither. Ignoring for the most part the counsel of their leaders, who were almost as confused about allegiance as were the individual tribe members, the best men of each tribe went off to war, but in all directions. In the end, they were all considered rebels, even though the Creeks and Cherokees sent more men to the north than south. But the leaders had signed treaties with the Confederacy, some reluctantly, some gladly. There is a common historical point of view that geography, not sympathy, drew the tribes to the Southern cause, in spite of the fact that some wealthy Indians managed huge plantations with Negro slaves. But they were not representative. What was more pertinent, more persuasive in the final decision, was the geographic reality that Indian territory was adjacent on the east and south to Confederate states. Their own safety, therefore, in jeopardy, they committed themselves legally to the south. They would long regret it.
Each also took sides against America during the Revolution. Each was forcibly removed to Indian Territory west of Arkansas by the United States government, and the leaders of each of the 5 civilized tribes were Masons. And the leaders of each of the 5 civilized tribes were Masons. We have at least one bit of evidence that the integration of the Indian with Freemasonry was cultivated in a kind of ambassador relationship. It is possible that a Maryland-born English loyalist named William Augustus Bowles brought Masonry to the leaders of the tribes. He was properly positioned to do so. On a sojourn to Florida, Bowles joined up with a party of Creek Indians. He was appointed to lead the civilized tribes in the war against the colonies. He married a Creek woman and eventually became totally integrated into the Creek tribal culture. In addition to being the military or war chief of the tribes, he was appointed provincial grand master of the Creek, Cherokee, Choctaw, and Chickasaw Indians by the Grand Lodge of England. It was not widely known at the time that the Creek Nation had 6 treaties of alliance between the King of England and their nation.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck, 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 As their military leader, Bowles called all of his tribes together in the Bahamas to meet with the provincial governor. The war didn't take place, but Bowles took a delegation of tribal leaders to England the following year, and during that visit he was made a member of Prince of Wales Lodge number 229. The lodge was instituted to consist only of those who were honored with appointment under King George. In the lodge minutes where Bowles was asked to join, he was introduced as the chief of the Creek Nation, and the record clearly shows the lodge's interest in introducing Masonry to the Indians so that the cause of humanity and brotherly love may go hand in hand. Bowles was ultimately captured by the Spanish and died in a Spanish-owned prison in Cuba in 1805, not long after the Cherokees had settled on lands in Arkansas.
Shit, son.
Interestingly, if not coincidentally, another Mason with the Bowles name, this one known as Captain Bowles, served as the chief of the Western Cherokees from 1705 to 1813. He would later figure prominently in Texas Masonry as well as in Arkansas. The bottom line is that regardless of where or when Masonry entered into the Indian culture of men, we know many of the early tribal leaders who impacted Masonry in Indian territory were Masons before they came to the territory, before they came to the territory, before they came to the territory. And we can speculate that Masonry was a part of at least some of the tribal cultures before the start of the 1800s. Matthew Leeper was a charter member of Washington Lodge, Arkansas in 1837. He was a close friend of Brother Andrew Jackson, who had been the principal architect in the removal of the tribes to Indian Territory. Leeper was a prominent civic leader who ultimately became a United States Indian agent in 1857. Territorial historian Charles Krager said of Leeper that he was one of the Masonic pioneers who carried the spirit of Masonry to the Indians of the 5 tribes. And we certainly have a rich legacy of Native American involvement in the affairs of city and state and in Freemasonry. No other area in North America can point to the successful integration of the Indian into the body politic as has been accomplished in Oklahoma. And Freemasonry played an important role in the blending of the cultures.
No other place did the Indian knock at the door of Freemasonry in such large numbers.
Hey, you're fucking with the wrong son, nigga, okay?
Dude, I will hang your old ass by your turban.
Oh, turban now. Do you see any fucking turban here?
Please fasten your seatbelt.
So, over the last 2 semesters, most of my lectures have focused on the experience of Native American loss of homeland and victimization by the U.S. government. But this week, I'd like to balance it out by focusing a little bit on some of the less pleasant aspects of Native American heritage and a very controversial issue in reservation politics today. And that's the history of Native American involvement in slavery, not only of other Native American tribes, but of African Americans as well. Today, we'll be watching a documentary on the Black Indian.
Mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch. Little stupid bitch.
Which is an obscure but very important topic in Native American history.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh, I want 150,000.
It's a source of ongoing controversy because recently, the Cherokee and other slave-owning tribes of the past recently decided to strip black people of citizenship. That's the descendant of slaves of Cherokee Nation, Choctaw Nation, Seminole Nation. They no longer have citizenship.
Give me my damn money back right now, and I don't have no damn receipt.
Well, where's the cover to...
I don't have no damn cover. I kiss my eyes, so what?
It's an important issue because critics accuse the Native Americans of racism. But for the Native Americans, it comes down to an issue of tribal sovereignty. The same thing they've been fighting for 200 plus years. Is that we have an inalienable right to have our own policies on our own sovereign nations.
Shut up, bitch!
But to start, I think it's important not to reduce slavery to stereotypes. We tend to, almost by default, think that slavery is a white institution of capturing black people.
Fuck you!
But in truth, history shows us that slavery is a basic economic system of every society in history, bar none. It's a basic way of organizing labor. And we have to consider that before Europeans, Arabs, blacks, and Turks had massive slave networks in Africa where they bought African people from African tribes.
Fuck you lying. Why you always lying?
So, my point in saying so is simply acknowledging Native American participation in slavery doesn't isolate them as any guilty party. But still, we can't accept stereotypes. We can't accept the stereotype of Native Americans running around in loincloths and scalping people and taking slaves. But at the same time, we can't just accept the stereotype that Native Americans were docile and peaceful and one with nature and promoting human equality. In truth, Native Americans had the same economic needs as any other society. They had the same basic human functions of warfare.
Cabazon suffered from extreme poverty, and due to neglected treaties, they were left with little land. As the California lottery became popular in the early 1980s, the Cabazon started to raise revenue by operating bingo games and poker halls. City and county authorities tried to shut down gambling operations, but the Cabazon tribe sued and won in federal court. The Supreme Court reviewed this case, and it led to Congress passing the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. This act gave tribal sovereignty to create casinos, and that states and tribes should create tribal-state compacts. This means that gaming tribes' revenues are not taxed and that states do not have access to the financial records, but that states can occasionally confiscate revenue which serves as a special tax on Indian reservations. However, the act also stated that the federal government has the ultimate power to regulate Indian gaming.
For years, there was no money in Indian country. There finally is. Indian gaming generates $30 billion a year in revenue. That's an enormous amount. There's only 2 million Indians in America. And the tribes together generate almost $30 billion a year. The black members of those tribes have been generally excluded from those benefits. I think they deserve to share them. It's their history.
Cherokee Nation gets a lot of flack for being a thin blood tribe. I don't know if you've heard that term, but a lot of Cherokees do appear white or indistinguishable from Europeans. So it does appear that it's a mostly white group, excluding black people.
Last month, I had the honor to meet President Obama at a Native American roundtable. And one of the tribal leaders goes, Mr. President, the next time you get the opportunity to nominate a Supreme Court justice, we would want Native Americans to be at the table in the vetting process to make sure that that individual understands and knows Indian issues. And he said that, he said, by all means, he will do that. And so I leaned over and said, well, Mr. President, I would want to say that, the next time you get to nominate a Supreme Court nominee, that it be a Native American. And he leans over to me and said, hey man, I just met you. I can't nominate you Supreme Court. And everybody just busted up laughing. It was great. But yeah, that was really a highlight. I don't know how long I'll have this job, but that will be one of the highlights. Yeah. The Cherokee Nation has many faces. Chief John Ross, the most famous Cherokee patriot and greatest principal chief this tribe has ever known. This is my great-great-great-grandfather, something that I'm very proud of. He was 1/8 Cherokee. I'm 1/8, the same blood quantum that Chief John Ross was. I'm not an identifiable Indian. I could go down walk down the street, no one's going to say, oh, well, there goes a Cherokee.
What's up, everybody? This your boy Nick, man. I just wanted to tell y'all, thank y'all, appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for being subscribed to the channel, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man, for being able to come in here and spread the love and spread the message like it need to be spread, man, because the truth is only the truth. It's been a couple of weeks, probably about almost a month, man, since I made a video. But that has not been because I have not been trying. It's just been because me and my wife have just we just had another daughter. We just had a daughter that we just had, man. In the last couple of weeks, she was born on Valentine's Day or whatnot. So it's just been kind of taking it easy, man. Sitting back, chilling with the family and enjoying life for what it's worth, man. Because it's just a true blessing to be able to have children like that, man. It's something that some people can't experience and some people haven't experienced. So I take it for everything that it's worth, man. But, with that being said, man, I just want to thank y'all for watching the video. And as you know, I just want to clarify a little bit, too, of what was going on in the video, man. Basically, you see that it was talking about a lot of these $5 Indians that we know to be today are basically nothing but Masonic people that was originated in the beginning, man. They talked about the dude that was a friend of Andrew Jackson, which basically show you that Andrew Jackson was not out here. Excuse me for a second, hold on. But basically it shows you that Andrew Jackson was not out here, he wasn't out here fighting against the regular, he wasn't fighting against the 5 civilized tribes and the people that had been set up. Now you see who was set up, and you see the people that was in place of what you would call the wild Indians, or the non-civilized Indians, the people that did not and still do not want to have anything to do with their government. You know what I mean? You see what was going on with them, man. He wanted to kill their ass. He hated their ass, and every single one of the Freemason presidents that came about also had the same thing in mind, man. Now you got to understand that these people have all been working together, and it's a plot against us in order to erase our heritage, our history, and our persons, you know. So we really got to be sticking together in this whole fight, man. And just let y'all know, I'm gonna still be here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna continue to do this work as much as I possibly can, and I appreciate y'all for supporting me. I appreciate everything that y'all got to offer, man, you know. But this ain't about me, it's about us at the end of the day. So we really got to come together and support each other, you know. With that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for what y'all do and everything y'all did, man, and continue to do what we got to do. Till the next time, peace out.
Don't whoop me. I tell you you need to whoop nothing. Whoop that. Or else whoop your own ass, man.